3, 2, 1.
What's up everyone, Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 3rd, 2018. In this video, it's kind of the second part of a two-part series of videos on Litecoin. First part was a pullback scenario from where we are now at $86. This part will be a bullish scenario with a continued uptrend. So obviously, first off, just like the last video I did on the pullback, I do want to build some framework and we'll use the weekly for that. Definitely want to point out to you how oversold we are on the weekly. We've been down here for a while now, and we've endured a lot since February. So very oversold on the weekly, one thing to point out. The other thing I do want to start with is basically we have the averages of these previous weeks with Litecoin, right? These weekly candles. And the average is around 19% between the high and low, from the top of the wick there to the bottom of the wick there on these weekly candles. So average of 19% in these previous 4 weeks. Now I want to point out something. These candles right here, these 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this uptrend was an average of around 17.5%, I believe, in those candles. So you kind of get the sense for these moves on these weekly candles and the volatility of Litecoin. Obviously, there were some even more volatile weeks, like you can see there, you can see here, but really an average of 19 previous month before we got to this doji with a possible bottom. So that kind of sets the framework for a bullish scenario, especially a bullish scenario being we've had this downtrend with these red candles closing on the weekly. We have this star doji right here at the bottom, which really indicates that the bears have grown weak, a little bit more tired. And although there is some indecision in the market, and you can really sense that from the sentiment, it is a good indicator of a possible reversal. Even better is the fact that right now we're in the middle of this weekly green candle right here on this current weekly that we're in at $86. So what I want to point out is, if this is a reversal and we continue up on this uptrend, right, that we've had the last few days, let's go to the daily and get a sense for what that possibly could look like. And I want to start with the stock RSI. You see the stock RSI, we're in that kind of overbought area up here. We've come down, we've come up from those lows here in the $70, $72 area, wherever we were when we were oversold. Now we've had a nice run the last couple of days. We're in that overbought area. That doesn't mean we're going to just tank back down and hit new lows like we talked about in that pullback video. However, we could have a little bit of a consolidation kind of bringing us down a little bit before next move up. So to see what that might look like on the 4-hour and to see where we might end up in a continued uptrend, let's check out the 4-hour charts. So right now we have a lot going on. We've formed the reverse head and shoulders that we were hoping would form. It formed, first of all. Let me get my brush. Now, what I'm looking for, and I talked about this in the pullback video, I said there was some synergy between these two videos, because there is. Just like we were looking for support in the pullback video and definite support not to break in a bearish scenario if we broke down, we're still looking for support at this area of confluence at 84 to like $82, like right in here, which is simply the neckline of that reverse head and shoulders. It's this previous area of resistance on the 4-hour, right around $82. And it's also it also meets and intersects with the 50 EMA on the 4-hour. The 50 EMA has been huge for us in this downtrend in terms of tracking, are we at a bottom yet? Because a break above that is what we need. And just to give you a picture of that, if you've missed previous videos where I look at what that looks like, you see constant resistance in this second downtrend right at the 50 EMA. And then finally, when we form the bottom, the 50 EMA turns back up, and then we're trading above it with constant support on our way up. So similar to that, that's exactly what we're looking to happen right now. Like literally right now, because you can see, and it's very actually nice to see on this chart, if I can get rid of this green line in the way and zoom in a little bit. It's very nice to see this 50 EMA starting to turn up right now. So what we want to see is we want to see us trading above the 50 EMA. And we want to see this 50 EMA approach that 200 EMA, which is all the way up here around $97. So back to how we started this video, that 19% average in these weeklies. In the bear market scenario, this continued downtrend or massive pullback back to like $72, we talked about that 19% average on the weekly. So we took it from the top to the bottom, and that took us down to that bottom of 72, 19%. So, and if you're not following me, what I'm saying is we took 19% from that top of this weekly to the bottom, takes us right down to support at 72. Now, if we do the same thing in a bullish scenario and we take this bottom wick and take it up 19%, we're right around $94 to $95. So back to the 4 hour, let's see where that $94 to $95 area is. The $94 to $95 area is pretty much right in this beginning of this green box that I have here to right around there. So that's that 19% average on the weekly. So if we have a nice continued uptrend in this weekly candle, we might see that. Something like that would look like a possible support right here in this area at $82 to $84 for a new higher low, which is a very good thing. And then possibly just creating new higher highs on the 4 hour. This is really exactly what we want to see in this continued uptrend until we get to this area. Now this area is very key to me because as we approach that $94, right, that average of 19% from the low of the week, as we approach that, we're approaching the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. So another area of possible resistance. If we break that, extremely bullish to watch out for. Now, also what you see, if you kind of go back to mid-June, you can see this channel that we've traded in, and you see it lines up very nicely with this green channel that we're looking to break. So in my opinion, that really $93 to $100 area, which is that green box that I have on the screen, that is a true indicator if we break that. In my opinion, I could be wrong. We could break it and then I guess tank back down. But if we do break it, I think it's a very bullish outlook for Litecoin. So that's kind of what that looks like. What does that look like on the daily? It's pretty simple. So on the daily, you see there's the $100 mark, right? So we went from the 4 hour, that $93 to $100 area is right there on the daily. And you can see, I'm saying if we break that, it will be huge. And if we break that, we're approaching that 50 EMA on the daily. So obviously our first step is to get this 50 EMA to approach that 200 EMA on the 4 hour. That's always the first step we want to create on the 4 hour. Next step would be the same type of movement on the daily where that starts turning back next. And this would be an extremely bullish scenario for Litecoin. And then we can actually start talking about approaching the 200 EMA on Litecoin as well, right in that, really right in between that, that 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. And obviously you can see that second bottom is right in there, and that's what we'd be tracking as well for resistance, right in between those two at around $112. So stepping stones to get there. However, all we need is volume. All we need is the bulls to step in for us to kind of hit these key goal areas and break these levels of resistance. So right now I'm looking for support at, obviously, and I just moved my whole chart, but we're looking for support on the 4 hour down here in the 82 to 84. If we go down to that for a little pullback, it's an okay scenario to be in. We just want to see support there as we bounce off, and then we look to aim at a new higher high in this 4 hour. Stepping stones, little steps, and we will get there. But those are my bullish scenarios for now. We've had some nice momentum in the last few days, so hopefully it continues, and hopefully we kind of hit new highs in the short term, and we'll see what happens in the long term. Do you agree with this outlook? This is my bullish outlook. This could be the formation of a bottom in play right now, and I love it. It's definitely good stuff to watch, and I hope it continues. And let me know if you agree or disagree. As always, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the channel as we continue to put out hopefully good content for all of you. But I will see you in the next video, and God bless.